Yeah, Ray, I'm definitely inspired by the actions that you're taking as a philanthropist in this moment. And some of your peers, like there are amazing stories out there. I was really struck by Jack Dorsey's announcement yesterday of his huge philanthropic contribution. And I mean that's awesome. But equally important,
but it's not nearly enough.
Exactly,
Right.
and I'm kind of dismayed in a way to hear you say that you're 60-40 leaning pessimistic. Like it feels like your voice in these conversations that are going on in the corridors of power and where the big money is around whether this turns into fundamentally cooperation between countries and between companies and between big money controllers, or whether it turns into a fist fight is so important. And hearing you talk about the gratitude we should be feeling towards some aspects, let's say, of what China has done, like the extent, do you find yourself in conversations like raising this, trying to take the view that no, you're needlessly sparking friction here. Take a more generous view, because it feels to me like there's so much at stake between how many people are trying to nudge that type of conversation versus the hostile, fearful conversation.
I think there's a general mistaken belief. I communicate a lot with the people that you're saying, people in positions of power, whether they're both in government or other places and so on, and have the thing. I think what you basically have to realize is that very few people are making decisions based on the quality of the argument, that most of those in the have a particular, are in a war of some kind or have a particular objective, and that the information that comes out, even in the media, you could almost see which side each media outlet or each person is on. How many people do you really believe don't have a side? Almost everybody they're on one side or another side. And the idea of being able to see things from both sides and come together is, in this time and through history, perceived as almost being weak or a threat, because you got to get on one side or the other side and so on. And so it's not easy to just say out. I'm like all the people and China, an example, I would say, thank you very much. You know how many respirators and masks and all these things that have come, but almost that's politically challenging, because there'll be people out there and threatening. Why am I doing this? And people will be out there and they will say, okay, he's a China lover or he's an enemy. He goes on the other side, because there will be people on the other sides and those people. And so I think I'll turn to you, Chris. You have a forum. Bring in the other sides, okay? Bring in those that are those who, let's say, have the most offensive policies that you think that are in positions of power, and have that together so that you can have thoughtful disagreement. And like I'm a believer in thoughtful disagreement, open, thoughtful disagreement, to try to get at the right answer and have collectiveness. But it isn't easy in this world.
So, well, that's a good challenge to us. And I'm also a believer in thoughtless disagreement. I think, Corey, we're passionate disbelievers in the spreading of irrational hatred, like instinctual irrational hatred. And I feel like the stakes are so high right now that
will you fight for that? In other words, when somebody is going to punch back, and because this is what's needed. If somebody's going to punch back because you're saying something that's true and controversial, that'll be the test. Can you punch back for collective, decision making, common decision making, and then punch back?
I'm not going to say punch. I'm going to say fight back. Absolutely.
Okay, fight back.
Every fiber we have, if it means that we look weak or we're a threat, so damn well be it. Because this is the moment. I mean, everyone is impacting everyone else. We have a shot to nudge each other to be our better selves and to look at the stories of inspiration, the stories of humans reaching out to humans, of companies doing incredible things, letting go of the profit motive for a moment, of countries trying to help each other. There are stories about that. I think we need to amplify some of those stories more. And we're certainly down to do that. We're trying to do that every day. And Ray, I loved hearing you talk about some of the good things that China's doing and all the rest of it. Thank you for your voice and for spending this time and for being, honest and vigorous with us.
In conclusion, I know we're wrapping up. Yes, I believe this is a defining moment. We will get through it fine. We will be restructured in important ways. So that's fine. And thank you for, sharing ideas worth considering,